Buonasera ragazzi. So it's just finished. Spurs 1, Juventus 2. The Bianconeri are through to the last 8 of the Champions League, having won 4-3 on aggregate. And how they turned it around in the second half. Massimo Allegri, the Juventus tactician, he's answered his critics. We said at half-time, what are Juventus and Allegri made of? There's your answer. As for the game itself, I've got to say in the first half, Juventus didn't offer much. It was all Spurs. Juventus did have a shout for a penalty on 17 minutes, of course. Vertonghen's challenge on Alexandro, but you know, the likes of Dybala, Higuain, Khedira, Douglas Costa, they just weren't in the game for Juventus. The Bianconeri offered very little. Spurs had control of all the possession. Of course, Buffon made one save from a Song header. Dele Alli had a volley go straight at him. Of course, then Spurs took the lead on 38 minutes through Song. If anything was likely to happen, it was going to be through him. You know, it seemed that they were too busy, Juventus, marking Harry Kane. Song was always just down on the wing. You know, he was exposing Juventus's weaknesses. On the goal, of course, ball came across the box. Now, I don't know what Gianluigi Buffon was doing on the deck before the ball came in. Whether he slipped, I don't know. Song doesn't get a great connection with the ball. As he hits it, it seems to bobble, but it still goes past Buffon, deceives him into the net. Now, when at half-time, watching the game, you just thought, how are Juventus going to get 2 goals here? You know, I really thought it was going to be damage limitations. I thought Spurs were going to probably get another 2 or 3 goals the way they were playing. At the start of the second half, Juventus just offered very little to start with. You know, there was no desire, no urgency. You know, you just think, how can they get 2 here? Massimo Allegri, though, did make a tactical change, of course, bringing on Lichtsteiner for Barzali. He reverted then to a 4-4-2 formation, and the results had an amazing impact in the end. Of course, Juventus then equalised on 63 minutes. Of course, ball into the box. Sami Khedira flicks it on with his head, and Higuain just pokes it past Hugo Lloris. No chance to that one. They get themselves back in the tie. And then, you know, just 3 minutes later, Paulo Dybala, of course, this man here, then scores a second for Juventus. And he's nodding his head because he knows how important the goal was. You know, they exposed it yet again. You know, he's one-on-one, going past his pace. One-on-one with Lloris, and he slots it in the top corner. Juventus just turned the game on its head. You know, ever since they got the equaliser, the atmosphere changed around Wembley. And there you go, you know, 2-1 back in it. That was just, it was like the Juventus of old in the 90s when they would go away and destroy teams away in Europe. Like we saw many times, of course, Borussia Dortmund in 95 when Roberto Baggio was there, a fine example. So Juventus got themselves ahead. After that, I've got to say then, of course, it was then like we had another game. Spurs then, of course, piled the pressure on after that. You know, balls into the box. You know, there was one, of course, when the ball was going across the box. Harry Kane's there waiting. Giorgio Chiellini slid out and clears it. Now, in the first half, you know, Juventus was static. They were stationary. You wouldn't have seen such a challenge like that. It seemed then as if they just seemed to galvanise the Juventus, the team spirit. You could see it on the pitch. You know, in the first half, it was lacking. Where were they the other 62 minutes in the game? Of course, then Spurs did have many chances though there. Of course, Eriksen had a shot deflected wide off Lichtsteiner. Song also then fired wide. And I've got to say, it was heart in the mouth on 89 minutes. So that Harry Kane header, okay, was he offside? Replay show he was, but you know, that header bouncing, you know, off the post, Buffon can't get near it. It is, when you watch the replay, it is just on the line. Luckily, Chiellini gets his foot in and hacks it away. You know, Spurs threw everything at Juventus after that, the kitchen sink. But Juventus had got the job done in the space of 4 minutes in the second half. And it is them that go through. I said before the game, in fact, after the first leg, I said it was advantage Spurs. I've got to say, I wrote Juventus off. You know, given the difference in Serie A, of course, and in the Premier League, you know, there's no striker like Harry Kane in Serie A, let's be honest. Even the likes of Eriksen or Song, you know, I was saying that Juventus were winning the league because there just wasn't any competition. Tonight was a big test and they've answered it, that's for sure. Can Juventus go on and win it? Well, obviously, you're looking at the draw. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm sure they'll want to avoid another English team in the next round. But at the end of it, if you want to win the competition, you've got to beat whoever you're drawn up against. As for coach Massimo Allegri, you know, I said yesterday, you know, some Juventus fans never accepted him. On the day he was appointed, he was jeered, tomatoes pelted because of his Milan links. Isose wasn't good enough. Well, I think it goes to show, you know, his record in the Champions League and Serie A is better than what Antonio Conte achieved. And if that still isn't good enough to be accepted, what does Allegri have to do? But tonight, though, he is the toast of Italian football, turning the game around when it looked as if it was good as gone and Spurs were going through. Absolute masterclass in the world of tactics there from Allegri. I think the difference between Juventus and Spurs in the end was the experience. That just saw them through in the end. But Juventus won't care at the end of it. They get the job done, we know that. And they are in the hat for the last 8. Of course, who they now draw? Well, I've just got this feeling they're going to draw Liverpool. Don't ask me why, but that's another factor. So there you go. So tell us what you thought of tonight's game. Juve, were they worthy winners? Allegri, is it about time he gets the credit he deserves? Spurs, did they just not have enough experience in their team to overcome Juve in the end? Tell us your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Calcio TV on YouTube. Like and comment below your thoughts. We will be on again tomorrow night when we give our reaction after, of course, AC Milan versus Arsenal in the Europa League. So don't forget to tune in for that one. We will speak to you soon. Arrivederci. Ciao.